Hunting is not easy. It never has been. It takes dedication, motivation, a lot of patience, and quality gear. If you manage a food plot, put up stands, or need just one more game camera, we can help at MidwayUSA.com. We opened our doors in 1977 and continue to put customers first by offering super fast, same-day shipping. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to MidwayUSA.com. For almost 50 years, Midway USA has been America's go-to source for just about everything for shooting, hunting, and the outdoors. Go to MidwayUSA.com to see our latest deals and promotions and take advantage of our super fast same-day shipping. If you need a cooler, a new fishing rod, another rifle, ammo, or a reloading press, you can find it all at MidwayUSA.com. Thanks for your business.
Just be sitting up there jacked with Pepsi.
I'm there for the pack out. You just got to pack me in.
Committed to the bow early on. Like, I love getting close and putting up.
You cover a range of stuff on here too, right? Like,
We call this the THP World Headquarters.
You know, my grandpa Roy Weatherby.
I came into like that golden little pocket where there was like 4 or 5 different bulls. Just
You're Canadian? We're doing a Canadian podcast?
my name's Douglas Bode.
I'm Robbie Denning.
Roy Candy.
Right on. So thanks for hopping on the show again, Mark. It's been a while.
Hey,
we were just talking about that.
It's good to be here, Kevin. Glad to be back.
Yeah, over 2 years. Time sure flies. But you're making the most of your time, man. Like, I don't know, like you just been training straight time the last, seems like all the time. Every time I go on my Instagram, you're getting after it.
Yeah. I was ramping it up really hard after the winter on the fitness. I watch yours every day. I don't know if I'm at your level, but I definitely am getting back to mountain shape because I leave for Colorado a week from tomorrow, or a week from Saturday. Yeah, I'm gonna head to Colorado for a 2-week high country hunt. So I had a lot of stuff going on. I knew I was gonna have a lot of hunts. I kind of backed up. I kind of went, I don't know, you know how your hunting progresses, and I got caught up hunting here in Texas, and I have land here. So I got so wrapped up in hunting local whitetails and targeting specific bucks. It doesn't take a lot of fitness to target whitetail bucks in a thicket and go sit in a tree and hunt them and kill them. It takes, matter of fact, you're better off being a little bit extra thick, sitting there in the cold days. I sat all day but I started killing target bucks, and it really tripped my trigger hunting here in East Texas, and was only going on like one mountain hunt a year or something. And something triggered me last winter, and I said, this is not who I am. I need to get back to what I do. And so I have a full docket of Western mountain hunts this year. I just got back from one. I was bear hunting in Arizona last week.
Yeah.
I got a lot on my plate. So
what's the difference in elevation from where you are now to, like, we'll say your Colorado hunt, just because that's where you're going? Like, what are we talking?
I'm in Dallas. I'm in the Dallas, Texas area right now. So let's just say anywhere from 150 to 300 feet above sea level. And I'm going to be hunting above 11,000 feet in a week.
Big difference. Yeah.
Man.
And when I lived in Colorado, I never had to acclimate. I lived at 7,000 feet when I lived there, when I was learning how to hunt mountains. So there was never an adjustment. I was younger too. I was 25 years younger, or 20 years younger when I started that. And so I just go from living out on the plains of Colorado, where it was still 6,000 to 7,000 feet there in Falcon, where I lived, to 11,000, 12,000 feet above timberline hunting mule deer. I hunted elk always around the 9,000, 10,000 line. And I hunt mule deer above the 11,000 line, 10 to 11,000 line. And there was nothing to acclimate that. And then going back, over the years, Utah has been my go-to destination. Over the last 10 years, I've been going to Utah more than Colorado. Colorado, I've been doing some later season gun hunts on migratory mule deer. And so I was only hunting at the 8,000 line, which not sitting under a pine tree with a Weatherby all day, just waiting for the right one to come by. But this, going from 300 feet 11,000 feet I know is going to be a challenge because I just got back from hunting in the mountains of northern Arizona there on the Navajo Indian Reservation. In those mountains, I was in the 9,000 foot peaks hunting bears, and man,
You could
it
feel
took
it.
me a whole day to acclimate just to go to that. So I know that but it was kind of it was a nice primer to get chasing bears around. And I was just spot stalking the whole time or setting water sources. So I was moving around a lot. And I'm certainly glad I took that 5 days to go acclimate to Western hunting because, you know, the little things you forget about living down here in Texas where it's soggy and hot and warm, everything's great. 2 nights on the mountain, the third day you wake up with bloody boogers. You know, the bloody boogers, thin air, the dust, the dirt. You're blowing your nose, you're honking, you're stopped up, different weeds, different plants. Your body. When I grew up in Texas, I wasn't even allergic to poison ivy. I could play in it. But when I moved back to Texas as an older man, and got poison ivy once, now I can just look at it and break out. So you
Oh
just
man.
people change. Your body chemistry, makeup, everything changes as you get older, and everybody tells you, you enjoy it because you can't be like that forever. And I think that's something that hit me hard losing. Lost both my in-laws and my mother all in 1 year. And I
Oh,
was like, I told my
it's
wife, I'm
tough.
not going to die with all this money, and I'm going to spend some of my health now. And so that's why I've been just I have hunts booked clear out for 2 years and put in for every single thing I could. I didn't put in for points, I put in for hunts. And I said, well, if I'm going to do that, the first and most important thing I'm going to do is have to get in shape. And so that's what I started doing back in January.
Yeah,
Well,
man,
you
you've been killing it. Quite the transformation. Looks good. It's so like it's awesome to see. I mean, that's the thing is like, it's never too late to start, to start changing things. If even if you were physically fit before, it never hurts to be a little bit more physically fit. And man, I'm 45. And you get to a point and you start realizing like, hey man, I probably lived more days than I have days left on this earth. So, you start to value those days when you're in your 20s and even in your 30s. You don't really think about it too much. You know what I mean? You're like, whatever, tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll do it next week. But then all of a sudden you're like, man, like you can't say, well, I'm gonna do it in a couple of years because you know what I mean? Like we were just talking about, like it's been we haven't had you on the show in 2 years. Like it goes by just like that. It
It's
happens
going
so fast.
faster every day.
And yeah, exactly. So, but no, it was awesome to see you getting after it, and quite the transformation you took there. You're carrying rocks, buying rocks. I was like, when you showed that, I was like, what the heck's he doing? He's buying this rock.
Well, Cam Haynes, we've been friends for 20 years, and um, he, you know, there's two groups of people in the world. Those are people that love Cam Haynes, or the ones that are going to love Cam Haynes. But eventually, you're going to love the guy. If you get to know him, you have no choice. You have to love him and appreciate what he does and what he has done for all of us. And I got to know him 20 years ago when he was editor over there at Eastman's, and I started writing. That's where I started. And so when he was nothing, I was buying his books. Like I was just like connected with the guy. Well, I had gotten really overweight and out of shape. And in the wintertime, I was just sitting on my bed and I had to hold my breath to lean over and tie my boots. Just had to hold my breath. And I was so defeated trying to tie my boots. And I just laid back on the bed. And I told my wife, I was like, God, I gotta do. She was sitting on the other side of the bed. I said, I gotta do something. And she said, you're going to have to just go put one foot in front of the other. Because my wife's lost a lot of weight. She had gotten, heavy in middle age, all that stuff. But she all of a sudden transformed her. She lost like 40 pounds.
wow.
And she's little. And she was paying attention to what she ate. And she knows I know what to do, right? She's not gonna baby me. She's not gonna tell me, hey, you need to go stop eating those chips after 6 and don't drink Dr. Peppers. And Dr. Peppers, those are the devil. I don't drink alcohol. I'm like rarely ever, but man, you have to watch me. I'll go get in a closet and close the door and drink a Dr. Pepper because I'll suck them down. If you got them, I'll drink all you got, man. I love Dr. Peppers and I love sweets. Little sweet rolls and donuts and cookies and pizza, bread. Just those things are like my devil. And and so I started. And so, and anyway, saying that, Cam Haynes, I saw him at the Hunt Expo for the first time in years. And he said, "Hey man, I want to have you on the show. I want to have you on the podcast and you can come do the lift, run, shoot experience." And I was like, "Man, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to ramp it up." And so I started studying it and training for that was just to go have fun with Cam, but I didn't want to embarrass my family or myself. So I said, "Man, I gotta do something here." So I started quizzing him. I said, "What's your rock weight?" He said 72 pounds. So I went down to a garden center. I'm in Texas. I live in a subdivision here. We're all on 1 acre lots. There's no river stones. There's no mountain here to go get a rock. And so people said
I got
on
some
Instagram,
rocks
"Who
you
buys
can
a
have."
rock?" The guy that wants a rock, duh. The
Yeah.
dude that wants a rock goes and buys. So you should. I went down. My wife is like, she's the best thing in the world. She comes home one day, she knows what I'm doing, and she doesn't laugh at me. She doesn't take anything I'm doing like it's a joke. She's serious, you know. And I went and bought a Go Ruck and I've medicine ball, and I loaded up with 70 pounds of sand, started carrying it around my neighborhood. And then I started doing 5Ks a day with it. I'd do a 5K every day with a 70-pound medicine ball,
Wow.
3.1
Good.
miles.
Awesome.
And I said, I don't think this is going to and I started looking at state parks and things around here. And I went to one with my son one day, full of people. People in Texas were going, "What the heck are you doing carrying that bag around?" And I was like, "Man, I need a rock because this bag's just not going to be as sucky as a rock." So my wife was
Nobody's
over
going to
there
ask me
talking-
what I'm doing with a rock, but they
Right.
will with it.
You're right. So my wife's over in Waxahachie, little town next to us, and she comes home one day and she says, "Hey, there's a garden center full of like big Cam Hanes rocks." That's what she called it, big Cam Hanes rocks over there at the garden center, the river stones. Go check them out. I went over there, man, and I was picking out a watermelon. I set them down.
That's what I was watching, and I was like,
Yeah.
and you're doing that, and I was like, man, I was like, what is Mark up to here? And he's like, he's picking through the rocks, and I was like, well, that's new.
Well, what I would do, and it was about 100 yards from where all these rocks were to the register where you pay, and they have a scale up there to weigh stuff. So I kept getting these rocks and running them up there and weighing them. And the guy finally, after the third one, the guy's like, "Hey man, you want to take my scale down to the rocks?" And I just happened to have a 72 or 3 pounder when I was there that time, and we weighed it and it came in. And he goes, "Man," I said, "Look, how much?" He goes, "I don't even know what to charge you. We sell this stuff by the ton." I said, "I don't care what it costs. I'm not going to pay it for a ton of these things. I just need 72 pounds. I said, "Just break it down then. Break down what a ton of these weighs and divide it by what this rock weighs. It came to $30." He's like, "Man, give me $30 for it, I guess." I was like, I gave him $30. I mean, fair is fair. I took my rock and he goes, "Can I ask what you're doing?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go on this guy's podcast with it and all that." I said, "Do you mind if I tag your business? I promise you I'll sell you some rocks this weekend." My wife said she was driving through town about a month ago. There's a dude over at the freaking city park walking around with a big river stone on his thing. People were commenting that the crazy guy with the rock in Midlothian walking around. I'd gotten a reputation for walking down Joe Wilson with this. They're like, "Where's the crazy guy with the rock?" You know, and but
Awesome.
I knew I needed to have that experience, and because going with Cam, we went up Mount Pisgah. I knew it was 1,000 vertical feet in a mile and a half. So it's literally from the parking lot to the top of the mountain. You just start climbing with the rock the whole way.
Yeah, pretty steep.
And I said, "Well, I have nowhere to go high. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go far." So I started doing 5Ks a day with it every day. And that was all through the spring. And then I finally got to where twice a week I'd go 5 miles with it. And carrying a 72-pound rock 5 miles, it makes you it makes you tough, and it breaks you down because, man, you learn.
It's
The
awkward.
main thing about that is you learn to maneuver the rock. It's a technique, right? You carry it, but you don't have to ever set it down. So you just roll it around the back of your neck like this, and you just keep the weight. And man, I can go a long way with it. But it did make me tough, and it did work on my cardio. And I didn't break anybody's record. If you ever watch any of those podcasts with Cam, he's got all these different athletes on there carrying the rock. Derek Wolf, the guy that ran across Australia, Chad Mendez. He's had almost everybody you can think of carry this damn rock up this hill. And I asked the cameraman, I said, "How am I doing?" He said, "Better than average." And I said,
nice.
"Everybody," he said, "of the athletes." And I was like, "Well, shit, man, that's
awesome.
good. I'll take that," you know. And either they were flattering me or whatever. But Cam, a couple of times, I think he was testing my litmus. He was like, "Hey, I'll just carry like there's been other people, or I had to help them carry it. So when you get tired, I'll carry it a little ways. We had to get on with the whole day. We had to go. I don't want to make this all about that, but we had to get onto the bow rack and shoot the bows and do other things and podcast and lift weights and all that. And I said, no, if I don't do anything else today, I'm going to carry this rock by myself. That's what I've trained for this whole time. That was the highlight of this whole thing. And I'm going to carry this rock to the top of this mountain. My goal was to never set it down or stop. And that's everybody's goal. But I did stop 2 or 3 times. I can't remember. Set it down, caught my breath, picked it back up. And I think it took me like 50 minutes, 50 or 52 minutes to do it. I think the record to this day is his son, Tanner, his oldest son, the Army Ranger. I think he did it in like 36 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine those
Anyway,
Rangers, they probably have some pretty harsh training.
Yeah.
Those guys go through
my
daily.
fitness journey, and no better way to get me motivated and back into my, and so by doing that and just spending a day with Cameron Haynes, being around him, really rekindled my bow hunting flame, because, I've been doing a lot of stuff with Weatherby and a lot of gun hunting over the last few years, but man, going out and being with him, being around true greatness and shooting with him and it just brought back who I truly am at my core, right? And then I stayed ramped up with my fitness, and then just shoot. I'm wearing my bows out, shooting them every day. And I took my gun and my bow on the bear hunt because it's any weapon. And I think I pulled the gun out and did one stalk with it. And I love it. It's wonderful. Brand new backcountry carbon 2.0. It's like the top of the line Weatherby Mark V carbon barrel. Awesome gun. I love it. But I just wanted to carry my bow, and I told my wife I said, I need to give all of my hunts this year. I don't even have any gun hunts lined out. So I better kill this bear with this new gun. I want to, but even in saying that, when I got there, 99% of the time I had my bow in my hand. I just wanted to kill it with my bow. I wanted to bow hunt. That's truly who I am. And it's just good, man. It's good. And hadn't seen you. I see you, like, I wake up and I wake up, I pray. First thing I do is I thank the Lord for waking up and get my glasses on and get some coffee. And then I go to Instagram, and the first thing I see is Kevin working out. I'm like, dang, man, the guy's still at it. That guy's, you're a beast. I'm staying fit, but you're next level. It's like you're training for something, right? Aren't you going to do? Are you doing
I got a
race?
marathon coming up. Yeah,
Yeah.
a race. So it's the last Boston qualifier for the year. So
okay,
just trying to get under the allotted time with a few minutes to spare. So we'll see how it goes. But man, hunt season's coming fast. So I'm trying to get a lot of training in right now, but I don't think that's going to matter too much. I'll just hit it hard when I'm in town, and then when I'm in the mountains, I'll just go twice as hard.
About Pete, you working out, ramping it up, getting ready like this guy is?
Well, I don't do that running thing. I think you're crazy if you run. But
I've been trying to get Pete for years now to just go for a run. I said, just try it.
If I'm running,
he's not there
you
yet.
better
Maybe he has to go pick up a rock. Maybe that's what he needs.
I got all kinds of rocks here.
All you need, that's what the man said. All you need is a mountain and a rock. And that
you got the mountains. You got to have rocks around. There's the
problem in Texas is you can't be outside in daylight hours after May.
Oh, it's just too hot.
It's just too hot. You'll die of just heat exhaustion. June, July, August, I tried carrying the rock. I have to get up before sun up, so I have to get up like at 4 a.m. if I'm going to carry it. And everybody's in Texas is going to work. It's just too dangerous. I don't have a place to carry it, not get ran over. So what I've been doing is I don't like to run either. It's hard on my knees, it's hard on my hips, and even no matter how much I do it, I went did it right the week after I was at Cam's in Eugene, and I did the rock. I came home. I went to Austin. My son and I went to Austin and ran the 10K with him down there. I'd never ran a 10K. I ran 5Ks. I'd never ran a 10K, which is 6.2 miles. And man, I ended up with shin splints because I pushed really hard at the end, and I'd only been running no more than 5 miles, and I ran 6 miles. And once you get shin splints, man, it's hard to get over them and for them to get back. And so I don't want to get them. So what I do is I just get I own a really nice treadmill, and it's in my garage, and I'll turn a big fan on at night, and I'll get on that, and I will walk the fastest I can walk, like at the highest incline I can go
Yeah.
for an hour. So I'll go like I can walk on. I start at 3.5 on a 6 incline, and I go the first mile, and then I incrementally go until I'm walking at 4.0 at 12 incline, and I'm just walking wide open, and that gets my heart rate up in the 140s and just holds it there for like 45 minutes, and that
Perfect.
burns calories. I mean, that
Yeah.
that usually equates to about 600 to 800 calories when I do that.
Yeah,
And
well,
then
you're in the perfect zone there for that too. I mean,
yeah,
and that's one thing, man. Like walking on a little bit of elevation, like anything, it's no joke, man. Like
mm-hmm.
you start to feel it, especially if you're doing it for an hour. That's good. You know,
Yeah, and it gets your heart
yeah.
up. It's good for your heart. It's good for your joints. Sleep good, but you don't hurt yourself. You don't hurt your
Yeah.
knees or whatever walking. So Pete, no excuse, man. Get you
Oh, I'm out there.
treadmill.
I don't do the running, but I do lots of rucking.
Yeah.
Actually, if I were to flip the camera around right now, I've got a water jug down here that I put in my backpack. It weighs 50
Yes.
pounds. And then I
Yes.
can put it on just like in my meat shelf and everything. And if I can't
Yeah.
go outside, I just go up and down our stairs in the house.
Yeah.
And I'm out all like even this last weekend we're out scouting and hiking up the slides, and that stuff's no joke. I mean, it's just like you can literally drag an elk down it. You don't have to cut it up. You can gain a lot of
Wow.
elevation, but
Just roll it down.
downwards just by well, seriously, like you got to make sure it doesn't roll on you, but you can drag it down by the antlers.
Yeah.
That's how steep it is. So no,
Wow.
Kevin got me into it pretty good. It was about a year ago. You put that challenge, maybe a year and a half ago, the 30 and
2
30.
years ago.
Yeah. So I've really stuck to it since then. And I mix it up a lot. Like there's a bunch of weights and stuff, but I've really focused on mobility, flexibility, because I find that's my biggest weakness is I stiffen up. It's just, lots of injuries from, being a dumbass kid.
Yeah.
And now that keeps me going, which just makes everything else easier, right? It makes the lifting easier, makes the hiking easier. And then I shoot at least 6 times a week. If I can't say 7 because there's the odd night that I can't shoot, but yeah, it's I gotta give my hats off to Kevin on that one there. He got me going on it. And
yeah, well, it's just a consistency. That's all it is, right? And doing something. It doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, you don't have to run. You just got to do something. And if you do it consistently over time, you're going to see results. And that's it. You just every day, just do a little bit, right? If it's like Mark said, if it's just walking a mile, just start somewhere. Just do it, right? Just get off the couch and
that's what I did. The first thing I did was get on my treadmill at no incline and just walked a mile.
Yeah.
And I said, no matter what, at the end of the day today, I walked a mile. And then I did. And on days when I don't want to, there's just days I don't want to. I simply don't want to do it. I don't want to do nothing. I sort of shoot my bow. I want to work, shoot my bow, play with my dogs, and watch TV with my wife. But I will go walk a mile on the treadmill. But now it'll be on incline at a faster pace. But at the end of the day, no one can take that away from me. I walked a mile today, no matter what. And typically, if I'm going to go a mile, I'll go 3 or 4. Now, I won't stop at a mile. But early on, if I could just say I walked a mile today, I could go to bed knowing I did something today. And that's kind of my son's new motto is do something, not nothing. And it's carrying this rock around inspired him. And he's only 33. He's a beast. But he wanted something heavy to carry, so he's cheap. He went down to Home Depot and just bought a bag of Quickcrete, wrapped it in a trash bag and duct tape, put it in his Badlands pack, and he walks around. And it was supposed to be an 80-pound bag. It's 92 pounds. And then he walks around with his bag of Quickcrete everywhere he goes. And I mean, he's got quads now that, man, he's like freaking Emmett Smith, man. He is a machine, and he wears that thing around. I think he's about to wear the pack out doing it, but
I bet if you're doing it,
he got inspired doing that. Looks like Derek joined us. I don't think we've met.
So Mark, Derek, Mark.
Nice to meet you, Derek.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm a little late to the party here.
We're just talking old man fitness, carrying weird stuff around.
Yeah, this guy here's the kid on the show.
Yeah, he's not in the old man category. He's not even in his 40s yet.
No.
So he doesn't know what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Well, good Lord willing, it's coming for you, bud.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we've been telling him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a nice view you got back there. Where'd that mule deer come from?
Southern Alberta. Yeah, Southern Alberta. Yeah,
Nice.
it's my best one. I've shot a couple in the 170 range. Um, but that's a decent mule deer. The one that got away though, that's the one that is
Yeah.
Still
those
eating
200s that are just
Those are the ones
that's
that haunt us all, man.
yeah,
The one that got
yeah,
away.
yeah. So
Cool.
So Mark, what was it? So you started getting into this training. How long, how long did it get to where you're getting like actually seeing pot like to the point where like, man, I'm seeing results, and then you just started like building momentum off there. You know what I mean? Like the first month must have just been horrible.
Yeah, the first, yeah. Well, I've gone through 3 phases in my life where at 3 different times in my life, I was in the best shape of my life. And then I go immediately. I don't, I, and when I was 31, I did it. When I was 45, I did it. And then at 53, I did it. The best shape I've ever been in was back in 2015 when I went and hired a trainer and started going to a gym. And I was benching 275, running.
Oh.
I ran 10 miles one day that just took off. I was down to, man, I was back to almost high school size clothes. Well, not high school, but back to same size clothes. I was in my 30s. And what's ironic is my hunting success. If you looked at the size of bucks I was killing, if you went back through my Instagram for the last 10 years and you looked at all the pictures, when I was at my heaviest, all of my animals were at their smallest. It's a fact. When I was at my leanest, meanest, my animals were all bigger. It's
Really?
just crazy how those two things coincide because I had the gumption and the ability to go when I wanted to go, not just take what the
Right.
mountain threw at me. I would target animals and go after them. When I was fat and out of shape and couldn't go, I'd take the first one I could get my arrows into, and it
Right.
proved itself. In my pictures, there's proof in the photos. But this time, I was 250 in January, 249, and I'm 220, 220-ish now. I'd gotten down when I went and saw Cam, I was like 219, 220. So I'm probably about 225 right now. But about 3 weeks, I started noticing a difference. And there was a certain pair of jeans I wanted to wear at the expo. They were new jeans I had bought when I could fit in that size. And they were hanging in my closet, and my wife was like, "Hey," because I do seminars at the Western Hunt Expo, and I always try to get nice new clothes and look fresh and cool and everything when I go to that. And so my wife's like, do we need to go get you some jeans or whatever?" And I was like, "No, I got this pair. That's my goal. I want to see if they fit, this pair of other jeans I had, but I would never try them on. I was scared, man. Like I don't want to, I couldn't even button them, when I was at my biggest. Sounds super, super weird to talk about, but I couldn't button them. And so 2 days before the expo, I said, I'm gonna try the jeans on. And this was, so I started in January. So this would have been about, almost 6 weeks into my regimen, into eating right and working out. I went to grab them. I walked over to the edge of the bed because I thought for sure I'm gonna have to just lay back on the bed to button them. I had to put a belt on. I had to put a belt on. I ended up having to
That's
go buy new
awesome.
jeans. I had to go buy new jeans anyway because they
That's a
were,
good feeling.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, they were two sizes too. They were a size too small, but they were about 3 sizes too small when I had my big old belly and fat butt. That's the first thing. The first thing that goes, when you have a lot of water retention and just pure lazy fat, right? Is your face is all pudgy, your belly's pudgy, man boobs, and your butt's all fat and saggy. But those are the first thing. Your face is the first thing to slim up. And then for me, because of the walking and running and stuff, my behind, I've always had a big quarter horse butt. But when I start walking and hiking and eating right, that and my face are the first things to kind of go away. And I was noticing that, and then um another thing I noticed is just health issues. I have a hiatal hernia. That's where, you know what a hiatal hernia is? When your esophagus, where it goes into your stomach, makes like a P trap.
Yeah.
Like a deer has a diaphragm. We have a
Yeah.
diaphragm. Well, at one point I tore that, and so my esophagus made a P trap, and it popped back up inside where my respiratory system is.
Oh
And
yeah.
so there's this P trap there all the time. So I have trouble swallowing.
Yeah.
And I remember when I did it, I was in my 40s. I was on a high country hunt, climbing and pushing really hard with a heavy pack on, carrying a buck out, and I felt something tear. And not long after that, I started having some serious issues and went to the
Yeah.
doctor. They did X-rays and they said, "Hey, you got a
I
high
I had
hernia."
mine. I had that same thing. I had mine taken out.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
asked
they just
them,
cut it off.
and they said they really'd rather not mess with it unless I have to, if I
Yeah.
have to. Well, when I'm really overweight and all because you're not just fat on the inside, you're fat on the inside when you're out of shape and when you gain weight and you gain fat, not muscle, you're fat all the way through. It's not everybody thinks fat is on the external of your body, but it's not. You have
It's
fat around
layered.
your organs, you have fat around your everything. And I would be in constant pain when I had that big belly. I was always in pain pushing on that, the pressure. I couldn't eat. When I would eat, I would hurt every time I ate. Couldn't sleep good. It would hurt. I couldn't sleep good anyway. I snored. And one of the things I noticed when I started losing weight, I was getting full night's sleep. I'd ask my wife, did I snore last night? Nope, weren't snoring. My don't hurt. My hernia doesn't hurt any. So it's I started noticing that before I noticed anything else. It was like I just feel better. And now and how I always you have to play mind tricks because if you tell yourself you can't have something, that's all you think about is I can't have that. So I just look at food as I don't look at food as something that makes me feel good. I don't look at something because it tastes good. I just look at it as fuel, good, clean fuel. And if I'm going to eat this, I think about the cells in my body are going to be whatever I put in my mouth in 7 days. Like that's
Yeah.
what my body is going to be, what I put into it. I want it to be quarter pounders with cheese and fries and Dr. Pepper milkshakes. I do, but you can't because that's what you turn into. And so when
Yeah.
I think about food as an energy source only. But then on those days when I just craving pizza, screw it, I just eat some pizza.
Yeah.
But the difference
Yeah.
between now and then is I'll eat the pizza knowing I'm still going to exercise. I'm still going to go
Yeah.
do something. I'm going to go walk on my treadmill or shoot 100 arrows. Most days, both, and just getting
Yeah.
out in the yard shooting 100 arrows at 40, 50 yards. You're walking. How many times,
Oh yeah. Putting
you
the
shot
steps in.
10 times at 50 yards, you've covered a couple hundred yards just walking around your yard. That I wasn't even doing that. I was walking out and shooting one arrow a week and to make sure my bow was still on because in January, it was still hunting season.
Yeah.
But since then, this year, I've stayed on top of the eating, stay on top of of moving around, just staying mobile, but just really shooting thousands and thousands and thousands of arrows because that's where my heart's at, re-inspired.
Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah, and it's like you said, it's that mindset. It's like we were talking about earlier. Like you don't want to go for a walk, but you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's the same thing when you're with eating. Yeah, you don't want to, but you just do it, right? You just do it, and then you feel better, right? And then it's just one more day, and you build momentum. You're like, oh my God, like I've been doing this now for a month, and then a month, 3 months, and then it's 6 months, and then it's a year, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
5 years, right? And like
Yep.
we were saying earlier at the beginning, it's like you get to a certain point in life and you start realizing that you've lived more days than you have probably left days left on this earth. So, if you could look back over the last 5 years and said, you know what, it all started with just going on that one run when I didn't want to. Because I mean, like those are most days for me. Like I don't want to get up at 4:30 in the morning and start training. I don't want to do that. I'd rather sleep, but you just do it, right?
It looks
It
like you
becomes
want
part.
to. You looks like you do it. You make it look good, bro. You make it look good. Make it look
Well,
like you're
well,
really enjoying
yeah.
it.
I love the way it feels. Like I love the benefits of it. I don't always love doing it for sure. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you do it for so long and then it just becomes a habit, right? And it's just consistency. And that was kind of always just my thing. I don't really work harder than anyone. I don't have any more talent than anyone. I just am really good at being consistent and
Yeah.
just always like, I might not beat you today. I might not beat you over a week, but in 3 months, I'm going to beat you because I'm just going to be there every single day
Yeah.
doing it. So,
Yeah. That's what showing up, man. Just getting
yeah,
up, doing it, being consistent, doing it when you don't want to.
yeah,
And
man.
that's the only
So,
way you get good at anything. Like,
Anything.
absolutely.
Yeah.
honestly, it's all the good stuff happens after you decide to just go. That's like, you're daydreaming, you're humming, you're hawing about going out on this hunt or doing that. And then when you get there, you're not even in shape. Like that's really the tough part, is not being able to go where you want, not being able to go as far as you want. It's last light, you see that group of elk on that bench you don't even want to look at. You looked at, they're there. You got to be able to get there.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Your
and it's like
body.
Mark was talking about, some of the quality of bucks he's taken down,
Yeah.
when he's in shape compared to when he's not in shape. I mean, right there, the proof's in the pudding. Like,
Yeah.
and
Those
that's
pictures
it.
don't lie. Big
Yeah.
old fat guy
Yeah.
with a little bitty buck, nice lean guy with a great big buck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just, the smaller I am, the bigger my bucks look. So
Yeah.
You don't have to hold them out in front of you so
yeah,
far.
I'm 6'2", a little over 6'2". And then when I'm in the 230, 240 range, it's hard to make anything look big. I have to set way back if I want this average East Texas whitetail to look good. I got to set like a mile behind the thing.
You need
And
to
that
get
looks
like a little
dumb.
personalized like Lego figure with you on
Yeah.
it, and just so you
Yeah.
can set
Yeah.
that just back a little bit.
You can always tell the big bucks though with
Yeah.
their ears.
You can just
Those
look at
big
their
bucks.
face and yeah.
Yeah.
If the deer's head looks like it's a Volkswagen set next to you, then they know you're setting a mile behind it, right?
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So, you were saying earlier, what you got your next 2 years of hunt plans
Yeah.
lined up?
I got well, just more than average, more than I normally have booked out. Or I've been a DIY guy. That's where I got that's what I've always been known for, and that's what I do is DIY. And I always had pride in it, and there is a lot of pride in DIY. But then there comes a time when it's like, well, especially in the whitetail world, I want to kill a really big whitetail. I want to kill a really big whitetail. But I live in Texas, but I don't live in really big whitetail country. I live in East Texas where this buck behind me is a buck I hunted specifically, and he's a Pope and Young 8-point, real meaningful, just the way I killed him. I hunted him down and killed him beast style. But it's so I can't be about big ones. It's got to be about mature ones. And a mature buck here might be 120, 130 inches. And but I want one of those big bucks. And so I told my wife, I said, hey, I'm gonna go kill a big whitetail. I go to Kansas to a farm with my buddy, but it's that gar hole syndrome. They always put me in a gar hole somewhere that him and his sons aren't killing bucks, and I can go sit over there. I still end up shooting a pretty decent deer, but not the biggest bucks on the farm, right? I'm like, I wanted to have a chance at the biggest buck on the farm. And if that means I got to pay to play, I'm 54. My kids are grown. This is my money. I'm not going to die with it. I'm going to go spend it on some hunting. Now, I don't want to go kill a pinned up deer. I want to do that. I just go down to South Texas and kill a pinned up deer. I want to kill a big, mature buck, but I don't want to put the money into a lease. I don't want to depend on going with a friend that's going to gar hole me. I just want to know that I'm the guy that has a chance of killing a Boone and Crockett whitetail with my bow and arrow. And so I went to the Dallas Safari Club this year and met a fella there. I researched. One day I was sitting and I went to my phone and I went bow hunting the biggest whitetails in North America, and it came up Illinois and Saskatchewan. I started looking through those, and then I picked a guy I liked in Saskatchewan. He's booked out for 2 years. So this other one was Illinois, and then I said bow hunting the biggest bucks in Illinois, best outfitter in Illinois, and it was just this outfitter just came up over and over. Then I started looking at his clients, and it's Ralph and Vicky, and it's Melissa Bachman, and it's all these big names hunt with him, right? I'm like, man, I'm gonna go. This guy was coming to Dallas Safari Club, and I interviewed him like I was trying to get a job with him, like I was gonna hire him. Like I'm a director at work. I'm a director. I have 200 employees that are under my direction, and so I know how to interview someone. Tell me about a time and in these situations, and how do you set your. The guy was like. After I got through talking to him and he could tell how serious I was, he goes, you'll come hunt with me. And so instead of going hunt with one of his guides, I'm going to go hunt with the owner at his place. Because I was like, he knew I'm serious about it. And I said, yeah, I don't mind spending the money, but I want to shoot the biggest buck that you have. And I'm the kind of guy that I will get in the stand 2 hours before daylight, and I'm willing to set an hour after daylight if there's deer under me, and I'll never leave. I'll shit in a trash bag. I'll pee in a can, but I won't leave the tree. I'll stay all day if I think a big buck's coming through there. So the guy knew I was serious about what I'm talking about. And so anyway, I booked a hunt for a whitetail. First time I've only ever really had one or two other. I've done some drop camps where I've hired outfitters to drop me off in the wilderness on elk hunts. But those are still DIY hunts. They just packed me into a big, wall tent set up in the back country, 8-10 miles, and hunted that way. But I've never paid, other than Canada bear hunting back in 2006. I went and shot a bear on bait there. And that was the only time I ever paid for an outfitter. I booked this hunt with this outfitter to go whitetail hunting, and then I started looking down the road going, okay. And after talking to Cam, he's like, man, you need to come hunt with the rivets, man. You got to go hunt bears with the rivets there in Alberta. So I booked a hunt with them. I'll be going there in May to hunt bears and kill 2 big bears up there. So I have that in May. I have this Illinois hunt in November 9th through the 13th. I'll be hunting Illinois whitetail. And then I just went bear hunting last week in Arizona, and I'm going deer and elk in Colorado next weekend for 2 weeks. And I'm hoping to kill my deer and elk hopefully in week 1, because man, I am obsessed with these bears. And I'm driving, so I'll just tack on. If I can get my elk and a mule deer on the ground in the first week to 10 days, I'll take the last 4 or 5 days, come back through Arizona, try to get a bear. I really want that bad, man. I really want a spot and stalk Arizona bear. It's like like I didn't get it accomplished. Now I'm obsessed with it, man. Like I'm sitting there do I skip deer and elk to go hunt this bear? But I already have this bear hunt book, so I don't want to eat the tag. So I'm going to try to do that. And then, of course, I have from October to January to hunt here in Texas. I kill 5 deer here in Texas. I'll hunt hardcore there. And then I bought all of my grandkids. I bought them Hoyt bows in the last couple months. You might have seen that on Instagram. Yeah. And my son-in-law, he's a sheriff deputy with 4 kids and a wife, and he's the sole provider. So he works overtime. He's busting his butt. And I keep telling him, you need to get a bow. You need to get a bow. You need to get a bow. And one day I was like, this is stupid. He's never going to save up. I'm just going to get him a bow. So I bought him a bow through Hoyt. I got him a bow. My daughter grew up bow hunting, and she's always been the bow hunter. My son-in-law, he's kind of stood on the sidelines watching as a spectator. And I said, no, you need to be in the middle of this with us. You need to be shooting. So I was like, this is stupid. So I'm buying everybody bows. So I bought my grandkids bows and my son-in-law bow. And we went out to Tennessee and took it to him a couple weeks ago. And he is absolutely ate up with it, man. I had him pop balloons, I don't care how old you are or how tough or cool you are.
Everybody likes popping balloons.
You pop a balloon with a bow and arrow, you're like a world champion. And I had him popping balloons that day at 30 yards, and my grandkids were all popping balloons. And man, I want that to be that is my legacy. Is I tell everybody I led my family to Christ and with Hoyts in their hands. And I was like, you're all going to go to heaven with a Hoyt in your hand, man. Yeah. So they all love it. And they're all my kids and all my grandkids that are old enough. They've all been saved. They go to church. I'm so proud of that, but they all shoot Hoyts now. Y'all know I'm a Hoyt guy through and through.
Kevin, maybe you should switch back over.
Yeah.
And
you're outnumbered.
My son-in-law, he's a lefty, and, we got him set up though. Man, trying to set up a left-handed bow when you're right-handed really is hard. So I took him to the local bow shop there and actually had this wonderful pro shop there in Maryville, Tennessee, set him up and got him shooting. But anyway, the point of bringing that up is he's watching my Instagram. He's like, he doesn't call me dad. I'm his father-in-law. He calls me Mark. Mark's already hunting. Where's he hunting now? He was in Alaska last week. Work took me fishing. We all went fishing in Alaska 2 weeks ago. And now I'm in Arizona bow hunting. He goes, wait a minute. Wait, whoa. Why has he already started hunting? What can we be doing here? How can, because they're coming out to hunt with me on my place here in Texas in October. When kids have spring break. So I've got 2 feeders going where I've not even been in there for, like, I set them up to spin a lot of corn and I'm not going in. And I think I posted pictures today or yesterday. It was this morning. I've got hogs on top of hogs in these corn. And I got tripods set up 15 yards from them because I want these grandkids flinging arrows and I want my son-in-law to get his first bow kill. And so they're going to come hunt that. But I was trying to think of a good hunt that's affordable that I could take them on. I think I'm going to get my son and my son-in-law and me to put in for Arizona javelina, where you can still buy an over-the-counter deer tag and just go maybe stay like in a hotel or do some kind of, you know, camping in this January. So I don't want to do no tent camping, but we might go
Are
stay
those
in a
hard to hunt?
hotel. Huh?
Are those
Javelinas?
javelina? Yeah.
You know what? They're not fish in a barrel. You'll blow 4 or 5 stalks before you get one, but if you stay after it, you can get within 30 yards and shoot one. And I think that would just be an awesome fun hunt for me and my boys to go just go on a true Western hunt and chase things around in the mountains. Because I killed a really big one with John Yoakley in northern Arizona back in 2014, January 2014. It was the last time I hunted them, and I went 2 times before and didn't get one. I'd put in for the javelina tag, get it, and I'd go buy a deer tag, and I hunted deer with him. And man, I've been snake bit in Arizona on that late season hunt. I've hunted it probably 8 or 10 times over the years since 1999. I've never gotten a deer. I have missed. I've had hit bushes. It's just like I'm snake bit on that hunt. It's like a bucket list item. I've got to get it checked off. In the first 2 years, I missed javelinas. I couldn't get close to them. I don't. It was just weird, man. I just was having some bad luck. But the last time I went, I shot a really big javelina and enjoyed the heck out of it. And I actually brought some of it home and ate it, smoked it. And then they make cool mounts. But I thought, but you're hunting them all day. You can get up in the morning, grab a lunch, throw it in your pack, and start up in the hills hiking, and you can hunt them all day long. So I thought, man, that'd be a fun hunt for me and those 2 boys to go on.
Yeah. So when you're hunting these things, you're just covering ground, just hoping a buzzard.
You get up high in glass, you use glass for them, and then get the wind right, because they can smell like anything else. You know, they can smell you, so you got to get the wind right, and you got to be quiet. But there's guys.
Can you use like calls on them?
Oh yeah. Oh man, the second year I went, John called. They were calling. We took a predator call, and they just come flying at us, and I shot one right through the middle of its body, but we never found it. Like it was running, and it was like I wasn't ready for that. When it come running past me, I mean I would have needed to put my 60-yard pin on it as close as it was, but I didn't. You know, I threw my 20-yard pin up and boom, shot as it went. But I'd have been better off my recurve. I'd have got it with my recurve, I'm sure of it, because I bow fish. And I could have instinctively shot at my recurve. I was trying to put a pin on it with my compound, and it was so close. I put a 20-yard pin on it. Well, my arrow is that much lower than my sight, you know.
Yeah.
So I hit it really low. We never found that one, and I was bummed, man, big time.
How big are how big was the big one you shot? Like
75 pounds, a big one.
Oh, okay. So they're fairly small compared to like a.
Big. These hogs I kill in Texas here, biggest one I ever got here is 240.
Holy smokes!
I kill a lot of 200-pound hogs, and that 200-pound hog is a big hog. People, you see these giant ones, but those are all farm pigs. I mean, an absolute gigantic dinosaur of a hog's 300 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do they die easy, or are they stubborn?
No, they do not die easy. You have to shoot them just right. You have to shoot them. That big 240 I shot had a shield. It was like 3/4 inch plywood on his shoulders for fighting. They just build that up to go through bushes and for fighting. He had tusks that big around, that long. They fight, and so you have to let those real big ones get quartered away, come in behind the last rib.
Yeah.
That one, I had it on my YouTube channel. I killed one back in June that weighed 175. It's a picture of me on my Instagram, me and a black hog, and you can see I shot him, and I got criticized because everybody's what do they call that? Armchair.
An expert.
Everybody wants to critique me. I'm like, dude, shut up. I kill hundreds of these every year. Don't talk to me about, what was that guy on Parts and Rec? Don't talk to me. I'm smarter than you. Yeah. Don't try to talk to me. Yeah. Don't mess with me. I kill hundreds of hogs every year, and those bigger ones, I just let them get completely broadside. And then when they get quartered away hard, I'll just put it on the last rib. That's the softest tissue. And I'm shooting a 70-pound bow with a 420 grain arrow. Even in those, I shoot those Grim Reaper Carnivores, 4-blade mechanical, man. That thing is absolutely, that thing is poison on these hogs, man. I mean, I have had more instant, I hear them go down, or I watch them go down in sight. Once I went to those broadheads, 4-blade heads, man, it smokes them. Even those
We've talked about those, and I haven't found. Did you order some, Kevin? I can't remember.
No, I didn't.
No, I remember we've talked about them because they look deadly. Was that you, Derek?
Carnivore 4-blade?
Yeah,
Carnivores, and then the razor cuts with a 1 3/8.
The Inch and 3 Pros was my go-to. Matt
Yeah, that's the
Bateman,
ones I use. I've been using those ones for years, but the Carnivore,
yes,
we were talking about using those.
that Carnivore is I am smitten by it. That's my number one go-to right now for um so the Inch and 3 was my
Yeah.
go-to. Now I'm shooting the 4-blade Carnivore, and man, that thing is just deadly, deadly. It opens them up good. I love that head. And then I have some friends in New Mexico that have shot everything you can think of with Grim Reapers, every kind, and they have a pretty good strategy. They shoot two different models, and so that's what I have done. That's what I've got for my hunts out west this year. I've got two Carnivore 4-blade 100s on the front of my quiver. I carry a 4-arrow quiver on my bow, and then the other two I have the Fatal Steel. And then they're only inch and a quarter cut. And the philosophy behind that is you don't want to have to. The farther you shoot, the less energy and momentum your arrow's carrying, right? So you don't have any extra energy. So let's just say it's 2024. We've all admitted we shoot further than 20 yards with our bows, right? So if I've got a bull elk out in this meadow at 60 yards broadside and I want to shoot him, I'm not going to shoot him with that 4-blade Carnivore. I'm going to shoot him with that 3-blade Fatal Steel. It's only an inch and a quarter cut. So it's less resistance. And it's I have one less blade to have to open, and I'll have better penetration. And some of my buddies that hunt big bulls in New Mexico, they've been using that strategy for years, and they're the ones that told me you should do this. Like if he's close, then you want to shoot a Carnivore or an Inch and 3, that's fine. But if you're going to lob one out there long distance at an elk or even a big buck quartering away or something for that matter, going to that Fatal Steel, it requires less energy to open, and you'll get better penetration because it's only inch and a quarter, and all their heads are the sharpest I've ever messed with, man. They are super sharp.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's a little lesson there.
Literally have one right here.
Yes. That's a Carnivore?
No, this one's a razor cut. The Carnivores are on. Yeah, this one's the razor cut 1 3/8. I've shot 3 bulls and a bull moose with this, so they work all pass throughs.
And
I've shot frontals buried to the knock.
Yeah, I like how Pete's are still in the. They're still in the. Still in the case.
Well, I got my practice one. I got my practice one. 2 there for hunting, and the other one I was shooting for practice. Those are the ones I sent you guys pictures of. There was broadhead tuning with.
My grandson's shooting 35 pounds, and my daughter shoots 45 pounds or 50 out of her compound, and I have them shooting the micro 80s, 100 grains.
Yeah,
and those they can blow through.
Oh yeah. Shot my bull last year with the micro Hades. It's crazy. The penetration quartering away came out in the front shoulder.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Big time.
Awesome, man. I don't know how we got on broadheads, but Grim Reaper should pay us for this one, man.
Yeah. Hey, they work.
It was
That's
interesting. We're setting Wyatt's bow up this right now for his hunting, but
who?
So my son Wyatt. It's 12.
How old is he? 12. Yeah, I would go with that micro Hades, man. That thing's poison.
And they shoot really well long range. Like I've shot them out at like that group I sent you, Kevin. That was at 100 yards with fixed blade broadheads. Those micro Hades.
Yeah.
Y'all know Marlon Holden, Gray Light. Have you ever seen him on Instagram? Marlon Holden, Gray Light. He kills tons of big muleys every year. He's on White Pro staff with me. That's what he shoots. He shoots those micro Hades.
Oh yeah.
And man, he's stacked up some giants with those things over the years.
Yeah, it's tricky. Like he's shooting his hunting setup. I think it's 54 pounds right now. So
okay, that's good.
We'll see.
Yeah, you're stout dude. He works out with you.
Yeah, he does. He shoots a lot though. He shoots right now. His summer's off. He's got a little clicker. He's shooting about 1,000 arrows a week.
Oh wow!
So he's going to destroy us next year.
What bows do y'all all shoot?
I shoot a Hoyt Ventum Pro 33.
Ventum Pro 33.
Yeah, love it.
Yep, that was a good bow.
Hoyt RX7 Ultra.
RX7 Ultra. What about you, Kevin?
Matthews this year.
Which one?
The Phase 4. Yeah. Can't get the lift up here in Canada. No, it has to be bought through so the way it works up here, it's a little different. You can't distributors like archery shops, they can't buy right from Matthews or Hoyt. They have to buy it through like Munson's. So they buy all the bows, and like whatever they order for the year, that's what they have, and that's it. And they all went out right away, and they're only available in ambush green. So every Canadian, unless you went down to the States and bought it, has an ambush green.
So no one could buy it and send you a bow as a gift?
Oh, they probably could, yeah. I mean, you probably could.
But
I
your
don't know
dealer's probably
anybody.
going
I
to
don't
look
know
at you.
anybody that likes us that much.
Well, I'm
Well, he
saying,
has to pay him back.
Yeah.
But my son, he shoots PSE. He shoots PSE bows, both of his bows. So he just actually got a brand new target bow, the new Dominator. So
I'm not a man. I'm not an anti anything. I've just been a Hoyt man for so long. I had left for a while. I got stupid. Something happened to me. I got brain damaged or something. I left for a couple years, but I'm back now, and I'll shoot Hoyts even if I got to pay for them. I won't
yeah,
ever.
I shot Hoyt. I shot Hoyt for years, a bunch, all the way up to the RX5s.
Yeah.
And then yeah, after that I switched over to that V3X, and then I went to
That was a
shot
nice bow.
PSC. Shot
One of the
PSC
bo-
last year, yeah. And
one of
it's
the
all that
bows.
matters. Availability is a big thing up here too, right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing. It's not like up here you can't just go into a archery shop and try out a bunch of bows, right? Like the archery shops, they only make maybe $200 off a bow, because by the
Yeah.
time, so they don't hold a lot of stock.
Right.
So, and there's not a lot of them either, right? So I mean, there's only probably 2 or 3 good archery shops in British Columbia. So I mean, in Alberta there's a few more, but still, like, they're not
Yeah.
very big. Like, even if you go to like Archery World or
I
Jimbo's,
know
they're not
Jimbo's
huge.
is pretty good. They'll have
Yeah.
all the flagships, quite a bit of colors and stuff too. They've been pretty good. Like they'll have the full Hoyt lineup and the
Well, we were
matches.
at the Jimbo's in Alberta, or in Calgary, and
Yeah.
like they didn't have a lot of bows on their shelf when we were there.
I wonder if they
When
sold out
was
then.
that?
When I
You
was
were there
down
in
there
July,
visiting my
weren't you?
brother. Yeah, July.
Yeah,
Man.
it was
Oh,
like the
really?
third week of July or something like that, because that was just after a couple weeks after the big one.
Yeah. So that makes it tough too, right? When you're dealing with bows. But I mean, like, the bows nowadays are so good. All these bows
All
that
of
they're
them.
coming out
They're
with,
all good.
they're like,
Yeah.
Yeah. You
they're
can't
so good.
you can't have a bad one these days. You know, you just with social media and stuff, if you have something that's, as you well know, there's something not right, it's going to get blown up and blown out of proportion big time on social
Yeah.
media. So they got to be on their game. They're all good. I just, I've just been with Hoyt so long
Mhm.
that it's
Oh, they're
family
great.
to me.
Yeah,
They're
for
just
sure.
family, and they're just good bows. But
Yeah.
yeah, pro shop. Speaking of that, y'all have a good one there in your area that you like to go to?
We
'Cause
have a
that's
local one. It's not a big shop. It's just a small little shop. So
long as it's good. That's one of the things I talked about with Cam on his podcast. That was one of the high points, was we were talking about the bow rack. And if you ever go to Springfield, Oregon, for whatever reason, go shoot you a Colombian blacktail or something, or go carry a rock up Mount Pisgah, you got to go to the bow rack and meet Wayne and Trent, the guy that, or not Nate. All those guys are in there. Um, Trent Swoops or something like that. He's the one that set my bow up. And he was like, when I was shooting through paper, he was folding the paper back and seeing where the point of the paper was in the tear, even on the bullet hole, and making micro adjustment. And I was able to take it out on the range and just shoot lasers with it. They're really good at setting it up, changing the top hats out, getting all your cam lean out,
yeah.
timing and all that. But a good pro shop is the key to a great archery experience for sure. I was one of those kids that self-taught. I got the little booklet that came with my first bear bow that was probably written by Chuck Adams or something, it was like hanging off of the bow. And I was actually reading it for content, reading the information on how to bow hunt. Back then you could go to a sporting goods store and you buy a bow and there was a little booklet hanging off of it with a little zip tie that taught you how to bow hunt. It didn't talk to you about shooting or nothing, just how to bow hunt. If you can remember that. I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember that. But and I just taught myself until and which was the wrong way. I wasn't doing anything right. I was just doing it for years until I finally went to a pro shop and bought my first PSE. And then I got the pro shop experience where they poured into me on form, time, everything. And then from there, man, my archery experience took off and was way better. If you start off in a pro shop, you're way better. A good pro shop, you're ahead of the curve. Because this self-taught stuff, man, you can teach yourself a lot of stuff wrong if you're not,
Yeah.
if you don't know what
Yeah,
you're doing.
I never had to go down that route. Luckily, I had my cousin. He was a really good national shooter. So, he got me started early the right way. So,
Yeah.
luckily enough, I never had to deal with any of that. So, but I mean, I know there is guys, and you see guys all the time, and you're like, they just never had. They just went and bought a bow, and their peep sight's not even to the right height. So
Yeah, and they're fighting the whole time, and it's just like
yeah.
you can't be successful out in the field hunting
Well, it's not
deer or
fun
elk,
either
and
too if you're fighting your bow. Stuff's
and
not set up right, and
you're not hitting. And yeah, I literally just came from the range, and that's what the case was. He had a brand new Matthews, and uh, I don't know, his peep was having peep twist, and it looked like he had his draw length was way too long.
yeah.
Just wasn't set up right. You're not gonna have a good time. You're not gonna build any type of accuracy when you're dealing with that.
Yeah.
No, I think a lot of those guys, they end up just putting it back on the shelf, and
Yeah,
then
and they don't hunt anymore.
unfortunately, they
Yeah.
just don't put the reps in. They just quit. Yeah, just from little things like that.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mark, for hopping on the show again, buddy.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be another 2 years before we get you back on.
Yeah. I didn't know what we were going to talk about. I guess it's best just to let these things go where they go, right? I mean, most of them, when they have an agenda, some of the ones I've been on, they have an outline. They want to talk about certain things, typically how to mule deer hunt, right? But I end
Oh,
up
yeah.
often I end up talking to them about their salvation or something, So,
Yeah.
but no, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'd come on anytime. What do you guys, real quick? I mean, what do you guys got going? What are your hunts? What's your fall looking like, Kevin?
It'll be elk for sure. And then my goal this year is to get Wyatt his first elk. So, and my daughter, she just turned 10. She turned 10 last year, so we got her core, which is her hunting license. So in BC, if you're 10, you can hunt. So she's 11 now, so it's gonna be her first year hunting. So she's excited to go out do whitetail hunting. So it's gonna be a busy year with that. Just taking my kids out and spending time enjoying the backcountry with them. So it's gonna be lots of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
elk,
I know
whitetail, mule deer, black bear, immature moose. That's all on my list.
What do you say? Immature moose?
Immature moose. Yeah, you have to get
Yeah.
for mature moose here. You have to get a draw, but we didn't get a draw this year, so I can
Yeah,
still
in
shoot.
BC
Fight
they
for
have
it.
this rule. It's if it's got two on one side, you can shoot it. Any bigger, you can't shoot it.
Yeah.
So unless you get an LEH, or if you're in the northern part of the province where there's, they're the big bulls are and there's more of them, you can
Do y'all
just
bear hunt much?
Oh yeah, I bear hunt every year. I was actually in Manitoba this year hunting black bear over bait, which was the very first, because in BC you're not allowed to bait bears.
Yeah.
And I went out to Manitoba this year, and I was out there for 4 days the first time, and then I was out for a full week the second time, and man, that was a lot of fun. That was quite the experience. I've never got a chance to sit and just like watch these bears interact with each other for, because when you're doing spot and stalk, or because that's how we always hunt them, as spot and stalk. So when you're hunting them like that, you don't ever really get a chance to engage with them. But when you see them, how they engage with each other and they act, it's pretty neat. So, but yeah, I got a nice boar out there.
Yeah. I killed the one off bait when I was in 2006. And then I'm going to go hunt with the rivets there in Alberta. They have a really good outfit, really big bears. But this spot and stalk and one with my bow in Arizona, I want it. And I think I talked about this a little on the first podcast with you. My father-in-law, he became a really good, I don't know if he's really good, but he was a frequent bear hunter. He loved hunting bears more than anything. And he went to his first one, he went to Saskatchewan, didn't get one. And my father-in-law, he'll pinch pennies. He was the kind of guy that would pinch pennies until he was pissed. And then once he was pissed, there was no amount of money he wouldn't spend, man, to get whatever he wanted accomplished. He was an incredible dude. And he went to Saskatchewan on a generic bear hunt, guides drunk, wake up late, cooking spoiled foods, horrible. The whole outfit was just totally generic, right? And he came back to Texas pissed off. Then he went to BC. He says, I want to go hunt. I want to go hunt. I want to be able to move around and hunt and kill big bears. Well, he talked to a bunch of people. He went to BC and walked the logging timber. And they even had an old VHS tape. This was in '89. So it was a VHS tape this big, right?
Yeah.
And my father-in-law shoots this beautiful cinnamon blonde, looks like a little grizzly bear on this logging road walking with his 30-06. That was his gun, man. And he got it. Then that inspired me. Like I couldn't, and then he ended up going to Ontario and New Mexico. He ended up killing several more bears in his life. But if he could hunt any one animal the rest of his life, it was bears.
Yeah.
And so I have this dream of, for the longest time, I had this dream of going to British Columbia and killing a bear with his gun because he left it to me. I've been hunting with it for years. But now I don't want to go stalk one down and kill it with my bow.
Yeah. Well,
in Arizona, but man,
Yeah.
if you ever hinted to me to come hunt their bears, I'd probably take you up on it in 2 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you just let me know. We'll line something up for you for sure.
I'll buy all the food and gas, man. I just want to kill a bear with my bow in British Columbia.
Yeah, I've and you're allowed 2 here in BC, so it's like I every spring, it's 1 or 2 bears. So
do you have to have a guide there? Are you considered a guide, or are you an official
for an
guide?
American resident, you'd have to have a guide, but I know lots of bear guides that we could line you up with something pretty good for sure. And it would all be
I'm not playing, man. I'm seriously soliciting you right now for a bear hunt.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Yeah, like I said, I know a lot of guys up here that have outfits, and we could line something up for you for sure.
My wife might not let
I'd
me
go
go
with
on.
you too.
Yeah. We'll go. We'll just go. We'll go do a BC bear hunt, bro, with our bows.
Yeah, man.
I own like 5 or 6 Hoyts, and I'll bring an extra bow if you need one. I bring you a brand new Hoyt.
So you can fit in.
Make sure you take a picture of that too.
Yeah.
Here, just hold this for a second. Quick snap. There you go. Yeah, no doubt.
I can take care of you, man, on bows. But cool. No, I would love to do that, man. It's just a dream. I'm hoping to get it done in Arizona on these. And these are really cool looking bears. They're not skinny little desert bears like you see in a lot. This part of the part where I'm hunting, these are really big, fat bears, man. Big.
Yeah, it blows me away, the bears in the desert. Like,
what's that?
It blows me away that they're like these black bears. They just habitat these deserts and they're big. Like,
yeah. But these bears I'm hunting, this mountain I'm hunting there, like I said, it was up on the Navajo. So it's a mountain up out of it. It comes out of the desert and goes up to 9,000 foot. It's aspen trees and big ponderosas and all kinds of choke cherries and manzanilla and big Gamble's oaks, big acorns as big as your thumb, but they're just not ripe yet. They're way up in the trees, and that's the way a lot of guys hunt those bears is they walk around that oak brush listening for the limbs busting in the trees, and those bears will be climbing up those trees eating the acorns. But the pictures, I have an outfitter friend that was paying him guide. He has guide day. He has daily guide or daily scouting fees. He'll go scout for you and put cameras on stuff, and you pay for it though. It's a service, right?
Yeah.
I don't live there. I don't want to go on a guided hunt. I just want to go camp and kill a bear, but I need a place to start. And so I called him up and I said, "Hey man, can you run some cameras for me? Do you have a rate?" And he said, "Yeah, man, this is my daily guiding rate or my scouting rate." Shoot, man, I paid for a couple of days and you go put cameras and for me.
Yeah.
He sent me pictures of giant bears. Giant bears. He found these 2 giants, big old stovepipe forearm boars, like the kind you dream about. One was a black one, and one was he was black underneath, but all of his summer hair was almost like blonde, but he was black underneath, and this thing had a belly on him like huge. I was like, golly, man, that's the one I want right there. And I set that water daylight till dark for days. But what happened is the week before I got there, the monsoons had started. It was raining day and night. So every puddle on that mountain filled up with water, and the bear didn't rely on the springs for water. They could go anywhere for water.
Yeah.
And then also there was a lot of the Navajo tribe. It's the time of year they're starting to move sheep around. And so right on those 2 springs, they had moved groups of sheep in. And when you bring sheep in, you're bringing in sheep dogs. And so as soon as their sheep dogs can smell a bear, that bear ain't going to come. As long as if the bear can smell the dogs and the dogs can smell the bears, they're not going to be in the same proximity. My perfect plan, now this is fish in a barrel. I'm going to show up because he had pictures at 9, noon, 3, 5. This bear was coming 4 or 5 times a day, just laying in that pond. and then it started raining and the dogs came. I never saw a bear in 5 days of hunting. So
Oh shit.
it was awful, man. But now, but like I said in that post, nothing motivates me more than getting my hind end kicked,
Yeah.
And that's what,
That's why we bow hunt, man.
that's
For
it,
those.
man.
Yeah.
That's if it was easy, I wouldn't do it, right?
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what makes it all worth it.
Cool, man.
Right on. Okay, Mark. Yeah, I'll be sure to check these out. This lift run shoot you did. I'm gonna watch that. And yeah, thanks for coming on the show again. Real quickly, where can
appreciate it.
everybody follow along on all your adventures and
Well,
keep up to
my
you?
main platform is Instagram. I'm Muley Slayer 1. Just Muley Slayer 1 on Instagram. And that's where I do most of my track. I have a couple of Facebooks and I have a YouTube channel called Down in the Bottoms. And it's all on my river bottom deer lease. And I've got several hog and deer hunts on there and adventures with my grandkids, things like that. My grandson came on spring break a couple years ago and I took him on a coon hunt at night with dogs, and that's all on there. They're fun. They're just fun little
That's cool.
videos of
Yeah,
just
man.
country
Yeah.
ass backwoods down in the river bottom, deer hunting, hog killing, cutting up. That they're good. A lot of Weatherby. I started that channel about the time I got sponsored by Weatherby, so I was doing a lot of gun demos on there, talking about rifles and stuff.
Mhm.
But there are a couple that the most recent ones are I kill a hog on camera with my bow, so that's a fun one to watch.
Cool. Yeah, I'll
Got
put
stung
all
in
that
the
stuff in
eye
the show
by a
notes.
wasp, and that's all I keep. My wife's like, "How many times when you're stung in the face by a red wasp, like right here, that is at the forefront of everything you're going to do that day. I promise you, because you're swole up. You're like Mike Tyson, just beat the crap out of you, right?" And so on this video, I say like 4 times, "I got stung by a wasp today," and my wife's like, "Why did you feel it necessary to tell us every single time?" I said, "Well, number one, I didn't make the video. Because I make all my videos on an iPhone. I don't have a real camera. I just use an iPhone on 4K, and that's what I do all my video on. And so I'll be walking along, and I went into the shed to get some fishing tackle at my deer lease, and this red wasp just popped me. And so I'm doing an interview, and I'm talking about it, and I show it, and then I get in the tree stand, and I'm like, "Yeah, my eyes all swole up." Now I realize I'm going to make a video, and then when I shoot the hog, and I'm doing the interview about shooting a hog, I'm like, even with my wasp stung eye, my wife like making fun of me, and I said, when you're stung in the freaking eyeball by a red wasp,
That's
you're
all
going
you
to
can
talk
think of.
about it.
Yeah.
You can't not talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's I hope you get a chuckle out of that and know that
Yeah, I'll check
I'm
that
not a
out too.
sissy. I couldn't think about it because my head was about to explode, man. My head was hurting, man. But yeah, that's all on there. Y'all check that out. So Down in the Bottoms, that's my YouTube channel, and then Muley Slayer 1 on Instagram, and I answer. I'm not one of these 100,000 follower guys. I like 11,000 followers, but man, I count them as friends, and I answer every question. I try to be helpful from shooting to salvation, man, to fishing. Anything I put on there, if it draws a question and someone wants to know about it, they hit me in the DMs, I'll answer it. I'll always try to be as helpful and give back as much as I can. So
Bet you are for sure. Okay, my friend. Thanks a
all
lot.
right.
All right.
Yep.
Nice
See you
meeting you,
guys.
Mark.
Yeah, nice
Yep.
meeting you again.
You too.
Friends of NRA is your chance to support our Second Amendment rights and preserve America's hunting traditions. Join Friends of NRA at one of our 600 exciting events nationwide. From games to auctions and exclusive firearms, Friends of NRA events are your chance to support a cause you care about while having a great time with patriots in your community. Whether you're a seasoned shooter, an avid hunter or outdoorsman, or passionate about freedom, there's a place for you within Friends of NRA. Visit friendsofnra.org to find an event near you. Stand up for freedom with the Friends of NRA.
From dawn to dusk and every moment in between, Captain Justin Leake and Meredith McCord have an exciting adventure waiting in the water. Catch Chasing the Sun, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on Waypoint TV. Waypoint TV, your destination for outdoor entertainment.